Oh, good. Just got done with a another IBN meeting. Met a new person that's starting a bakery, and they don't have any online presence, so I get excited about things like that. So
Wow, there you go, man. That's what I'm talking about. So,
we've got a lot coming
cool
up
deal.
soon. A lot coming up soon with our Johnson City Speed Networking. We just signed an amazing presenting sponsor who's going to be speaking at the event, getting everybody fired up and motivated. You might know his name is John Pyron, but spoiler
That's
alert.
that's gonna be a cool dude, man. Like I hear great things about that guy, man. Like,
We've
you
sold
know,
all of our sponsorships and table leader positions for the event. All we have left are general admission tickets. So excited about that.
and that's like a month ahead of time, dude.
Yeah, it's in 1 month from 1 month. So we're almost there. But we're actually
That's
ahead of schedule.
outperforming
We're ahead of
your
schedule on
track
ticket
records from
sales.
previous ones.
I'm sorry.
That's outperforming your track record on previous ones.
Yeah, every year
Good
we sell
job,
out a
man.
little
High five.
faster. We're ahead of the game. We're over halfway there on ticket sales already. So, and they're
Yeah.
starting to roll in now. All the late adopters are realizing, oh, I better get my ticket, and we appreciate them paying full price and not taking advantage of the early bird discount. So,
Yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, well, good deal. So well, first let me open up the show. Welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Business Doctor Show. This show comes to you live every single Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No matter where I am in the country, either myself or Choya or Gene or the funnel godmother, we always got somebody that's going to show up here. Okay. And there's always going to be a live in-person business owner who's actually done what the heck that they're talking about. Okay. That's the number one rule of this show is we're not talking theory. We're not talking about what we learned in college or what we learned from I got to be careful with names because it's a live show. With a coaching certification company. I'll just say it that way, right? So, I was talking to Gary Henson, who I've known for 12 years. He founded BusinessCoach.com. He and I worked out a joint venture, and he has literally certified 7,000 coaches and consultants through his certification program. And so out of those 7,000, probably 20%, maybe 30% actually has started a business from scratch. They've had a payroll. Okay. They've gone through all that struggle. And, and, in my opinion, and I've heard this multiple times from lots of speakers over the years, and after having gone through it, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, when you have an employee, when you bring on an employee, everything changes for you as the business owner. Everything. Okay? Mindset changes, how you show up changes. I mean, everything is great and running smooth without employees. But the moment you pull the trigger, the moment you have to fill out in the United States a W-4 and you have to get workers' comp and you have to bring them on and pay payroll taxes, it is a whole different mindset. And I remember one of my companies, 45 employees, I didn't have any problem with it because I didn't own the company. I had very small percentage, But Don Wildman was in charge of 90%, 80% of that. He was the one responsible. He's the one that had to carry that stress load. Okay. And then when I went over to another company, they had 45 employees. 45 employees on my departure. When I first went there, they were only 1.2 million, and I was responsible for sales and got them to 8.5 million. We had 45 employees, but John and Jeanette, they were the ones responsible. They were 90% responsible for it. Okay, I didn't have to deal with that stress level. And then in both cases, because I didn't own the majority of it, I got screwed over by both, and that's how I landed starting my own business. And I got to tell you, man, when I went and borrowed that 10 grand from my mother-in-law, okay, when I took a $25,000 home equity line of credit out and got that 25 grand, and then I had 2 cars that were paid for, I had to go and get one of those mafia loans, okay, one
Title
of those
loan.
one of those high interest, we're going to take advantage of you loans for another 15 grand. I had to come out of pocket $50,000 because I had to hire Sergio, whatever his last name was, because I was building an IT company, computer engineer, and I had to pay the guy $70,000 in payroll. My life changed dramatically. I found myself, the moment I pulled the trigger, the moment forming the company was no problem. I said, I called Mike December 15, 2005. I said, how fast can you form me a corporation? I just got screwed over by this other company. I'm done. I'm never going back to work for somebody. How hard could building a business be? Right? It's easy, right? At least what I saw, it was no big deal. I was making Don and I was making John and Jeanette a crap ton of money. Why not make it for myself? This is how most people start their businesses, right? I didn't know the ugly side. Okay? I didn't know the other side, okay? Until Mike Sastry said, okay, we got your company. Here's the corporation. Sign the paper here. Sign this, sign this, sign this. Paid him about $2,500 to get it all set up. January 6, 2006, we're in business, okay? January 15th, 2006, Sergio, dang it, what the heck was his last name? Anyways, he's my first employee. I'm like, hey, Terry, Mike's office, Sergio's coming on board. What do I do? Like, he's an employee. Like, what's the process? Like, I've never hired employees. And she walked me through the process. But I tell you what, man, the moment I signed that W-4, the moment I put his butt on payroll, the moment I made that commitment and he was my guy, I freaked the heck out. I did not. I literally would wake up at 2:30 in the morning in sweat, okay, freaking out because it wasn't about me getting paid. It's like I have to pay the dude, regardless of whether I get paid. And now I'm going somewhere with this story because it ties into our title today, which is called the ebbs and flows of business. All businesses have cycles. All businesses have ebbs and flows. Just when you think every single thing is going boom, 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 next thing you know, government changes the regulation, the market shifts, what you have been selling is no longer selling. People aren't answering the phone. They're not setting an appointment. The appointments you do have don't run. All of a sudden, your best client gives you a cancellation notice, right? If somebody could actually write a book, okay, and create a college course that can literally go, hey, this is every single scenario you're ever going to go through as a business owner, we couldn't even attend. Like, it would be probably a 25-year college track. And then we probably wouldn't even get through not even a quarter of it. And so I got a news flash for you. Business ain't fair. Okay? It ain't fair. The other thing is, the market could give a rip less about your cat dying or your cat have diarrhea or even a relative dying. Now, I know that sounds cold, but that's a brutal truth. And I'm assuming you show up to a show like this or you're listening to the recording because you want the candid, the cold, hard truth, not the warm, fuzzy. Okay? And if you're in business for any length of time, I promise you this, okay? You will go through challenges. You will face trials. You will face ebbs and flows. you will face everything. It's like I just got off of a call. Somebody's my appointment setter, and then my salesperson, they closed on a strategy session. Okay. And the guy ended up saying, "No, I'm not interested." Well, the guy ended up calling me back because now I'm back from being gone, and I'm talking to him. He's got this great invention, and he's 70 years old, and he's like, you know what? I want to find somebody to take this and run with it, and I think it's a beautiful invention. Absolute. I mean, I don't see nobody doing it in the market. I think it's a great invention. Big challenge. You're talking to me without a non-disclosure agreement. You don't even know me, okay? And you're sharing with me every single thing about your invention. Okay, that's number one. I said, I'm going to give you some free advice. Stop talking to people like me and anybody else without a non-disclosure agreement. Okay, number one. Number two is I said, well, you have a partner. You guys have already formed a C Corp. Yeah, but we don't have any revenue. We're looking for, somebody to come in and really want to take this and run with it. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, then why don't we do this? Why don't we get together and we will do, since you're in startup mode, okay, why don't we do a 2-hour strategy session? Okay, I'll meet with you. I'll meet with your partner. I know my sales guy already talked to you about that, and I don't think you really understood what that actually meant. We're going to get together and we're going to know down every single thing about this business that you're wanting to do. I've already done a ton of these things. I got 3 companies right now. I'm personally a fractional COO in, helping them go to market with their inventions and their patents, and I'm forming corporations, and I'm getting shareholders and investors, and it's a lot of work, man. But I've been down the road and I've done it. And so I just said, let's do a strategy session. I said, you're in startup mode. I said, so I'm not going to charge you. I mean, normally, where my rate is on a strategy session right now, here's the deal. You were referred to me, okay, by my tax guy. Let me just do it for you for $750. I'll cut the fee, okay? And he goes, well, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm like, what? He goes, well, because I'm looking for somebody who wants to have skin in the game, okay? Now, I'm going somewhere with this story because this is going to land very, very hard for some of you, and especially some of you that are listening to this recording or watching this YouTube video a year from now, 2 years from now. I said, listen, normally I would be charging you $3,000 for a strategy session. And because you're in startup mode, I would be charging you $2,000. And I'm willing to do it for $750, which means I'm bringing to the table. I dropped out of high school here. Let me do the math. $1,250 is what I'm personally investing in this strategy session, and my time that I'll never get back. And I'm giving you introductions to my network and actual people that I use to get these deals funded. I said, and I told him the story. Last year, I helped somebody get $4.5 million for their invention. It was a 6-month process. My boy Eddie Mohammed down in Boca Raton got the money, okay? And, the rest is history. Actually, no, I think it was a different investor that I used for that one, okay? But the point is, 6-month process, business plan, investor pitch deck, like everything that has to go, patents, trademarks, filings, all that stuff to get it going. And I said, that's what you're paying for. And you're sitting there telling me, well, I just, I don't think that, I'm looking for somebody that really that believes in my idea and is willing to invest in it. I go, dude, let me give you a news flash, and this is for every one of you listening, either on the live call or the recording. If you're not willing to invest in your own idea, nobody else is going to. Okay? You can have the best idea on the planet. And this dude gave me a great idea. And I happen to have a patent, trademark, and intellectual property attorney as a client. Okay? He does screwed up, dude, because you ain't taking this thing to market, and your idea is going to sit dormant forever because you are unwilling to invest in your own idea. And this is the problem with us business owners, is we want to run as long and as hard and as fast as possible, and we avoid at all cost hiring employees because we're too afraid of the what if. What if this happens? What if the market crashes? What if this doesn't go on? What if this doesn't happen? And that's why most businesses never make it. And the ones that do make it, they get stuck between, what is the number right now? Between 1.5 and $3 million. And then they stay there far too long because they don't want to hire the next round of employees that they actually have to hire to get to that $10 million mark. And the failure rate between 1.5 and $3 million is 85%. Look it up. And the reason they fail is because they stay there far too long. And after 2 years, revenue stays the same. Here's the expenses. And all of a sudden, revenue stays the same and doesn't grow. But the cost of business and the cost of employees and inflation alone starts chipping away at the profit. And 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, next thing you know, their profit margin goes from 40% down to 4%. And then they wonder why they're stressed out to the max and they think just getting more clients is the solution. No, they are the problem. Okay? And I'm on fire for today. You guys are going to get a very rare show. Okay? Because even I'm preaching to myself just as much as everybody else. Okay? I've got a great team. Gene's on this call. Shira's on this call. Rita's working out a joint venture relationship. Beth and I are going to work out a joint relationship. Choi and I have a joint venture relationship. Okay? But at the end of the day, the one missing component from my current business is a W-2 employee. And I know this. Okay? And does it mean I need to go out and hire one tomorrow? No. It just means that if I'm going to continue to play small and not grow and expand, there's no way to get to $25 million as a consulting company, which is the stated goal, without employees. It just ain't going to happen through contractors. Okay? And some of you, I don't know who this is for. I know it's for me, for sure, but I know it's for somebody else. Maybe you just don't know what to do. Maybe you don't know what your next step is. Okay? And maybe you need to get a hold of Beth, right? Like Beth with Biloxa, right? I worked with Beth. I had her as kind of my right-hand person for 2 months. Okay? Great investment. I got to know her background. But the reason all of us business owners are so damn busy is we won't hire somebody like Beth to take the work off of our plate. We won't hire somebody like Gene to take the work off of our plate. We won't hire somebody like Shira to take the work off the plate. None of them are my employees. I'm excited about it. I don't have to deal with workers' comp. I don't have to deal with payroll taxes. I don't have to do any of that. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is that time in my business I have to make that leap. Okay? What that person is, have no idea. Okay? I have a process and a way of determining that. But here's the point. Automate, delegate, and outsource all of your weaknesses first before you even think about hiring your strengths. I'm just telling you from experience. I'm telling you from 35 years of experience, 27 years of being a consultant, $3 million companies, okay? And having coached, well, now I've got 11 companies I personally have started and built, and over 2,070 businesses ranging from startup to, I think, the largest company, over $100 million. And then my business, one of my business, soon to be a business partner, Gary, 7,000 coaches, I'm telling you just from experience. If your business is a lifestyle business, this conversation is mute. No big deal, man. Build it. Like I have a client of mine building me for 11 years. When we first started out, she wanted to build a $5 million company. But once we got the husband free from his job, the girls were 1 year old and 2.5 when we started. Now they're 13 and 11 and a half. Husband been a stay-at-home dad, business partner of hers for, I don't know, let's see, 11 years. So what? He's been out of a job. He fired his boss 9 years ago. They take 6 family vacations a year. They do have a W-2 employee. It's a part-time, 20-hour-a-week W-2 employee. She's been with them for 8 years. Got a couple of contractors. Legally. Does almost $1 million a year in revenue. Provides a great, actually about $400,000 a year lifestyle. There's no incentive. You don't. Whatever your personal. Here's the point. Whatever your personal goals are, don't compare yourself to somebody else. Okay, but if you're like me, okay, been there, done it. Kids are gone. Kids are out of the house. Empty nesters, got some exchange kids. I know that the Lord has a bigger plan in place, and the only person getting in the way of that plan is John Pyron. Okay, it's not because, I mean, Abraham, like, he blessed Abraham tremendously. Solomon, David, Isaac, Jacob, Job. Like, Lord's got more money than I'll ever have. Okay, and he has big plans. So it's a personal thing between you, okay, and what it is that you want in your creator. But if you want to go big and you want to really have true freedom, and, it's like Carl Bickmore, the guy that bought my IT company June 1st of 2013. The reason he bought it, because I systematized the heck out of that business, got it over $1.5 million, and it only needed 5 hours a week of my time, and was only 5 hours a week because I chose that I wanted to hang out with somebody, and I played golf 5 hours a week with one client. So that was my work. He bought it. Then he bought 7 other companies. He grew it to a $25 million company with a bunch of employees and systems. He doesn't even operate in the business no more. I don't think he's been involved in the business in probably a year. Okay? So it just depends on the goals that you have. But the ebbs and flows of business, if you're looking for a guarantee, go get a job.
Those aren't even guaranteed, John. You can get laid off in a minute. Those aren't even guaranteed. You can get laid off in a flat minute.
Well, I mean, I know, but here's the deal. Don't tell them that, okay? Because everybody that doesn't, they think it's safe and secure because it's a job. That's the lie that we've been told all throughout history in this country, okay? And a lot of people today aren't even old enough to remember 1989. October 6th, 1989 to be exact, okay, when the stock market crashed because companies decided they're no longer going to support pensions, and they're no longer going to teach, go to a job, a safe, secure job, 40 hours a week, 40 years, and retire. Companies got tired of paying those pensions, and they started changing all those game rules in 1988, okay? And in 89, it crashed, and a lot of people lost their jobs, and that changed. There is no more safe, secure job after that date, my brother and sister, okay? If you don't perform, you're going to get laid off. If you have a client and you don't perform, you're not going to keep the client. But the ebbs and flows are this. Here's the only protection. You want to know the protection? Here's the protection. Who wants to know? Who wants to know the magic secret sauce? Okay, I mean, we're talking the magic bullet, like the one thing you've been looking for forever. Okay, you ready? Here it is. Here's the secret. How many contacts do you or somebody else make every single day? That's it. If there's one thing you have control of, is how many people you contact. I've tried everything on the planet to control everything else, but that even if I contact somebody and set up an appointment, I don't know. I can't control whether they show up or not. If they show up and I do my best song and pony show and they don't buy, I can't control that. I did my part. Okay. If my biggest client decides that, AI is going to take over the world and they cancel, okay. But I have a contract. John. It'll never happen to me. I have a contract. I'm like, yeah, I know. I had 3-year signed managed service agreements with teeth, and the week of September 20th, 2011, 5 of them gave me a notice because my business partner took off and solicited them behind my back and created a coup and lost $450,000 in 1 week in reoccurring revenue. And I was mad. I was like, man, I remember I called up Sherry at Med 7. I go, you realize you have a contract, right? You realize we've been together for 7 years. You realize your contract just renewed for an additional 3. Yeah, I know. You realize you can't hire Justin, right? Yeah, I know. Then you realize I'm going to bill you for the remaining balance of this contract. Yeah, and I'm not going to pay it. I'm like, well, then I will see you in court. Yeah, well, good luck with that. I go, what? She goes, it's my understanding that not just us, but 4 other people are giving you a notice this week. And you can't sue all of us. Newsflash, you can have a contract all you want, but you don't have the money to litigate it. And I went to the attorney, man. I'm like, hey, man, the sky is falling. I'm going to crush this dude. And he goes, okay, well, it's $15,000 to start the process, and that's per suit. And it's going to take about 2.5 years. Let me do the math here. It's going to cost you about $350,000 to litigate this. Are you sure? Now, he's been an attorney. He was an attorney of mine for a long time at that time. And he goes, can I be your friend for a minute? And I go, yeah. He goes, let's be honest. You brought all 5 of those clients in. You just got lazy and started playing golf too much and turned the relationship over to Justin, and that's why you lost the relationship. I'll sue him. We'll win. We'll settle. But wouldn't it be easier to learn from this, John, and go out and replace the revenue and never let this happen again? I'm like, yeah. Now, what does this have to do with you? I'm glad you asked, because that big painful lesson that was a 9-month pure hell to rebuild, you're getting for free. Here's the deal. Never, ever, 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 never rest on your laurels. Never, ever, ever stop putting a log on your fire. Never stop contacting someone about your business. The moment you do, I promise you this, there will come a point where there will be a correction. Because you're either going to grow your business or your business is going to go down. You can plateau it as long as you're doing it on purpose. But if you don't continue to go like this, I promise you this is going to go like this. It's called the ebbs and the flows. Being honest. And the business has a cycle. It's going to go from 0. If you're a service-based business, it's going to go from 0. You're going to get stuck at about $250,000 a year. You're going to have to plateau for about 2 months while you rework those systems and hire some additional support. That's going to get you to about $750,000. Then your systems are going to break again, and you're going to have to plateau for probably about 3 months to hire the right person. And then you're going to get to between $2 and $3 million, and then you're going to get stuck. And if you're like 85% of the businesses that get to there, you're going to stay there forever, and you're going to fail because you're going to have to hire a leadership team, and that's going to be about a 6-month to a 1-year process. To put the right systems and leadership team in place, then you're going to go to 10. And you can challenge me on that all you want. Go sign up for Grant Cardone, right? Cardone Ventures, okay? Brandon Dawson. They do a free webinar all the time, okay? You'll see. They'll lay it out. Okay? But that is the reality of business. The only thing that you and I, as business owners, have control of is picking up the phone and making a phone call. Okay? Every single morning, Gene sees me do this. Shira sees me do this. Mike Sheen should see me do it. I get up at 5 a.m. whether I like it or not. Okay? Whether I need to or not. Because the number one investment is in me. You will never go wrong with investing in yourself. But the biggest guard against the ebbs and flows in your business is investing in you and growing you. And some of you need to stop sleeping in. Okay? Some of you need to wake up and understand you're in business. Even if you work for somebody, you're in business. Okay? And the best investment you can make is in you. Putting your own oxygen mask on first. Not showing up to the football game, not having attended practice. We're getting ready to go into football season, so I love this analogy because, whether you're a Seahawks fan, okay, whether you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, whether you're a Tennessee Vols fan, when they show up to the game, there's 4 quarters. But they're not showing up to the game going, okay, guys, all right, game time. You guys ready? Fired up, woohoo! Oh, by the way, what are we going to do? No, they don't do that. They practice throughout the week. They show up to practice. They run laps. They do wind sprints. They do all the stuff that they hate doing because it's inconvenient. And as a result, they show up to the game and they win games. You don't win the Super Bowl by not attending practice. You win the Super Bowl because you showed up in between to the team practice, and then you disciplined yourself to show up when nobody's looking and running sprints and running this and running this and running this, doing all the crap that nobody else sees you doing so you can be successful. People say, oh, man, they must be an overnight success. Yeah, 30 years in the making. And if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, like I was born in Dallas, and I was a Dallas Cowboys fan I'll have to say, it's probably they're not going to go back to the Super Bowl for the rest of my life, I'm sure. Okay? Till Jerry Jones gets the heck out of the way. Okay? But if you look at the teams that make it, they do the things that they need to do because it needs to be done. And I want to challenge you this week. The one thing you've been putting off, you know what it is. Only you know what it is. The one thing that you've been putting off because it's not convenient, you know you need to do it in your business, you know you need to do it for yourself, maybe this is the day. Maybe this is the day you draw the line, you forgive all your past, because the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Okay? You forgive yourself in the past. You say, today is the first day of the rest of my life, and starting today, I'm going to do the things that I know I should be doing. And only you can make the decision. You don't need a seminar. You don't need a workbook. You don't need a magic bullet. You know what the next thing is that you need to do. You've been thinking about it all this time. Now, if you're just out of college where this doesn't apply to you, but the people I'm seeing on this screen, and the people I know that are going to listen to this recording, you already know what you need to go do. And the reason you're not hitting the goal that you want to hit because you're not going and doing the one thing you know that you need to go do. How do I know this? Because there's certain things I need to do that I'm not doing. I know I needed to get back in the dang gym. I avoided it like a plague, okay? Jean watched me. Her and Shira was a witness after I got out of that first workout today. They were like, you okay? Like, do we need to call an ambulance? I'm not kidding you, man. Like, I showed up to the gym over there, and I hadn't worked out in three years. I know I have to get back in there because I'm 56 years old. I got a family history of heart disease. I'm 41 pounds overweight, and I could build the best business on the planet and make all kinds of money. But if I die, what difference does it make? So Mike Dedues, by the way, highly recommend. Gene, put Mike Dedues' website in there because he's now my trainer, okay? And I'm like, dude, you're a Spartan champion. You're a High Rocks trainer, okay? You're shortcutting, underselling yourself to the market, okay? You need to go after business owners like me who are high performing individuals that don't want to waste time. I want to be told what to do, and then just tell me what to do, dude. Like, manage my diet, okay? Manage my weight. Have your wife, because she is an analytical person that is a teacher, okay? You guys, they take all my measures, lay out my plan, lay out my diet plan, show me what to do. Just give me a checkbox, my brother, okay? Show up and work the crap out of me, okay? And force me to do all the crap I don't want to do, because 3 months from now, when I have that great health, that great energy level, that great excitement, I'm waking up and I can perform better in my business. I can speak on stage and I can have all this thing. That's the reward. And I know for the next 3 months, I'm going to hate every single freaking workout. I already know. It's like this morning. I couldn't believe how out of shape I was. Like, Jean saw me. She's like, I look pale, man. Like, I'm breathing. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I'm like, I still got a 45-minute drive back home. I'm like, hey, I need you guys to run this next appointment because I got to go to bed. That's a true story. Jean, am I right or am I wrong, Jean? Jean was like, you okay? Jean's been with me for 2 years, man. She's like, I'm on Zoom. I'm talking to him on my way. And now here's the point of the story. There ain't no easy way to start other than start. It's like, there's no easy way. Okay? I wish there was. So, last but not least, I'll close with this. Okay? And then I'm going to ask some questions if we got some time. But if you want help with this, I wish I had a prop right here, but I don't. Go to the store, okay, and buy a deck of cards if you don't have one. Okay, it probably costs you a couple of bucks. It'd be the best $2 you've ever invested. Okay, and Gene, on my YouTube channel, there is a YouTube video called "Just Play the Game." Okay. And I did it back in April of 2014 when in 2013 I had that business collapse and I had to rebuild it, and I lost everything. Okay, Thursday before Thanksgiving 2013, and I had no money, nothing. I made some very poor choices and very bad investments, and I found myself at $600 a month with a family that I had to support. And my wife's like, you got to get a job. I'm like, nah, I don't want a job, And so I chose to not and rebuild. But I got to tell you, it was a nightmare. Okay, I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and the one thing that saved my butt was a deck of cards. Okay, I knew what I had. I knew that it was going to be successful. I knew that I had to get back to six figures as fast as possible. Okay? And it took me 4.5 months of just grit and grind. And the only thing that gave me peace was a deck of cards. Now, go watch that video, because that video is raw and real, because that video was done after I achieved that goal. Okay? So you're seeing that video. I go back and watch it every now and then just for motivation, because I remember exactly the fear. I remember waking up at 2:30 in the morning every single freaking day, just freaking the hell out, operating on 4 hours of sleep because I had burned the bridges. Go look up Felix Cortez Burns the Ships and read the story. 1462 comes to America for the Spanish-American War, or whatever that war was back then, and he, once they got on the land, he gave orders, burn the ships. And they're like, what? Oh yeah, they'll be a lot more motivated to fight if there's no way back. And a lot of you, the reason you're not where you need to be is you have your plan B. And sometimes you need to lose the plan B in order to have the plan A, and the plan A is do whatever it takes. And that's where I found myself. And the only piece that I had was a deck of cards. I'm like, I knew I had to make a certain amount of contacts. I had to do run so many appointments. I had to close so many deals, and it just sucked. It absolutely sucked. And I said, okay, I know there's 4 aces in this deck. I just know there is. Okay, I took the 2 jokers out, got 52 cards, 48 no's to 4 yeses. And the only thing that gave me peace is I would shuffle the deck. If I got discouraged at all, I would shuffle the deck and I would start flipping them. Sometimes it was 5 and I found an ace. Sometimes it was 21 and I found an ace. One time it was 29 until I found the first ace. But what it did is it programmed my mind and it gave me peace because I knew the process would work. I know for a fact that process will work for every single person on this call right now and every single person listening to this recording or listening to this on podcast. I know if you have a widget business, a service-based business, it doesn't matter what kind of business, the reason you have not hit the numbers that you want to hit is because you did not run enough appointments where you presented your deal and you asked them to buy. I know you didn't run enough appointments where you can present your deal and ask somebody to buy because you didn't contact enough people and ask them for the appointment. And I know you didn't contact enough people to set that appointment because you made 10 calls and they all said no and you got discouraged and you sat back and go, this isn't working. Maybe there's a better way. And then you spent the rest of the day trying to figure out what to do. And then tomorrow you went at it again. And after you got 10 no's again, you're like, well, that didn't work either. So let's retool again. In fact, you know what? Let's take a day off because I'm sure I just need more planning. And then you got back to it. This time you made 12 calls and everybody told you no, and it still didn't work. And it's this cycle that repeats over and over and over and over and over again. And there is no magic bullet. If you can come up with an invention that can find all 4 aces on the first hit, you will make millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. It doesn't exist. Sometimes you flip over the cards, like I said, 5 cards, you get a yes. 5 calls, you get a yes. Sometimes you may go 3. Dave Vanny used to tell me, show me, his numbers. He's my numbers guy now. He's part of my team. He's the guy that I'm putting people. I'm like, once a month you're going to meet with Dave. Okay, that's what I'm telling all my clients right now. Once a month you're going to meet with Dave because Dave is going to hold you accountable to your numbers. Without measuring your numbers, you're not going to hit your goals. And when everything is going great, it's easy to get lazy on the numbers until things aren't going great. And that's the ebbs and flows. All businesses are going to cycle. I promise you that. And if you can figure out a business that never has a down month, that never has a turn, that never has anything, man, get a hold of me. Okay? I'm going to introduce you to Rui Garcia Zamora. He's a patents, trademark, and intellectual property attorney. You have discovered the holy grail, and there's going to be, Elon Musk is a trillion-dollar trillionaire. He will probably buy you if you can actually figure that piece out. Now, that's a little sarcasm, but it makes a point. There is no magic bullet. Okay? And if you don't know what your next step is, reach out to Rita. If you don't know what your next step is, reach out to Beth. If you don't know what your next step is, reach out to Carl Davenport, who's on here. If you don't know what your next step is, reach out to Choya. Reach out to Jean. Reach out to Jane Knight, who's on this call. Okay? Why? Because these people have worked with me. They've mentored with me. They know exactly what to do. You can always reach out to me too. But nothing's going to change. You're going to have to do what you don't want to do to get to where you want to go. And it's like Choya pointed out, you can go get a job if you want. I tell people all the time, you don't want to do it? Guess what? Here's my solution to you. Shut your business down and stop playing business owner. Go back and get a job where you can be told what to do. And I'm just going to let that sit because I hope it pisses everybody off. I hope it makes you mad enough to do something. Your dreams and your goals are worth it. God did not give you that dream and that goal to visualize if he's not going to give you the power to achieve it. That would be a very cruel God. And our God's not cruel. Psalm 139 specifically states that he knows he sits there and watches you be informed in your mother's womb. He's excited. Okay? He cannot wait. He's already numbered the days before you even took your breath. According to verse 16, verse 17 says his thoughts about you outnumber the grains of sand. So you are unique. But it does take work. And you can do it. And like I said, every single person that I pointed out on this call, okay? And if you look at it, like Rita's got her QR code, Jean's got her QR code, Choya's got her QR code, Beth, get a QR code, Carl, get a QR code. You know, because this is on YouTube. Scan the thing, okay? Get a hold of them. Talk to them about their business. See how you guys can partner up, okay? But find somebody to be accountable to. Otherwise, it's going to be a lone road, man. You know? Choya, my brother, from another mother with the same father. What's happening? Are you there? You're muted.
It helps if I unmute myself.
That's it.
Technology
So
is
when
great
you
when it
were
works and
building,
press the right
when you
buttons.
started IBN, right? When you started IBN, did you ever envision 75 chapters in 6 different states?
No, I was just thrilled to be able to pull off 2 in one day in 2 different cities. So, I mean, it's definitely grown.
I
I mean,
mean,
obviously we want to continue to grow it, but it's definitely grown more than I thought it would.
yeah. And I would imagine there were days that you didn't feel like going and doing it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what did you do to plow through those days?
All I have to do is take one look at the bills and get motivated. Especially
Yeah.
when we first started the company, had wife and 3 kids. They're all out of the house now, in their own places. But when you got people depending on you, you got to step up to the plate. And that was my
Yeah.
motivation every day. Plus, I wanted to build something that would, outlast me. And that's been my goal to create a company that would,
Yeah.
change people's lives, build businesses, promote commerce, celebrate responsible capitalism, and do it way beyond my existence with the company. So we want to grow this to eventually be a public company, and go worldwide. There's so much opportunity out there that not everybody knows how to tap into. We just want to help introduce them to it. So that's our long-term goal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I look at what you've built, and because I work with you and mentor you in your business, and I look at what you built, and I got to tell you, man, it's like high five, kudos. You worked your tail off to get to where you are. I mean, anybody that can get 75 chapters going that are independently ran by 2 hosts, so 75 times 2, help me out with the math, 140, 150. Yeah, thanks.
I have a
Yeah,
master's degree in cat herding.
yeah. So 150 actual leaders that are not paid employees of yours
Nope. All
that
volunteers.
show up diligently. They run the chapters. Okay. They obviously get to host and make the money. Okay. And an average of 15 people or above show up each month. And every quarter, it seems you're doing this speed networking that sells out. And it's like, but if you go back to the initial start, it was a grind.
Oh,
I'd imagine there were
everything.
times where you and your wife Laura were like, "Oh my God, really?"
Oh, I heard get a real job every day. Get a
Yeah,
real job, get a real job. It's like, no, I'm a terrible employee. I've got to do this. This is my passion. I will say this though, and I want to give a kudos and a plug to John. I started working with John beginning of this year. I think officially in what, maybe February. I met him in January.
February.
Um,
February, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but year over year, just look at the numbers. We're at 58% over last year, a year to date. And John's definitely been a part of that. So appreciate that guidance. And more
Wow.
importantly, the velvet boot, the constant reminder to, well, did you do that today? No, no. So it's
Yeah.
been good. I
Well,
highly recommend to
yeah.
anyone listening to this podcast. Check out John at johnpowerin.com. Tell him I sent you, or just talk to him regardless. Just get on his calendar
Yeah.
and see what he can do to help you.
Well, and thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm not going to get into too much. But you and I both know it's like we as business owners, and this is something you and I have had a discussion with before. It's like every now and then you just need somebody to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, you did the work. Okay. The only thing I've done is come alongside and meet with you every single week and hear what you're going through, and understand all the ebbs and flows that happen as a business owner, and just keep you dialed in for one more week. That's all I've done. And everybody has their moment in time, right? So, you've done the work, and you continue to do the work, and you're expanding, and now you got this incredible visibility that's just sick, right? So
We've
if you
got
haven't talked to Choya, go ahead.
just an update on that. We've got two signed clients now with incredible visibility. Our first two early adopters, and boy, are they benefiting from it. One, they're getting 125% of my energy because these will be the test cases, so I'm really excited about it. But I
Yeah,
tend to give 125% to everybody, anyways. But I was just going over one of my clients that just signed on, actually. What 12 days ago. And we already have him in the AI summaries for his category. We already have his incredible towns assets indexed. His Facebook traffic is up 19 times over last month. Not 19%, 19 times.
wow.
1,900% increase in
Oh
traffic
my
already.
gosh.
And we're not even 2 weeks into it yet. So it's
Yeah,
unreal. My other client came on board just a little over a month ago. He's already gotten a major job out of it that will pay for probably his next 6 to 8 months of incredible visibility. And we're just
yeah,
getting started with him too. So
yeah.
it is an amazing
That's
program. I'm discovering it's vastly
yeah,
underpriced for what I'm offering, but oh well,
yeah.
that's me.
I
So
keep telling you that.
well, and so here's
Yeah,
something I learned. So we're on introductory pricing right now. Guess what? That's going to
that's
end
it.
soon. So John, I will be
Yeah, it
raising the
is.
price
Yeah. Oh, I know. I
because
know. We already have a plan for that.
it is so unbelievable. I think I'm going to raise it
Get
more
in
than that
now.
because I've
Get in
discovered
now.
there's a
By the way,
few
everybody,
other
get in
things
now.
that we can add into it that will even just exponentially make it even more powerful. So the price will reflect that, but it's still going to be an amazing discount compared to anybody else because I love small businesses
Yeah,
and my goal in life is to make them succeed and then hopefully I'll succeed
yeah,
in that order. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I gotta tell you right now,
yeah.
if you're even
It's a sick
interested in
program,
getting
man.
blown up
Yeah,
online in a good way,
yeah,
talk to me about incredible visibility. It is unbelievable.
yeah, yeah. It's sick. No, this is an example. I'm glad you bring the. We're having this conversation because this is going to benefit everybody. When you have a reoccurring business model, okay, when you have success in your current business, always be looking at, okay, what else will my customer buy? Okay, what else? Because they already have a know, like, and trust factor with you. And in the world of sales, the second sale is the actually easiest sale. And so once I exchange money with you and I have an experience with you, it's easier for me to buy something else from you. Okay. And so, and oh, by the way, Shira, Shira's my assistant. Shira put a, in my meeting with Choya this week, okay, put in there a contract renegotiation discussion because I think I need to upgrade my contract. My contract. Shira's like a heart in the thing, right? But no, I'm
Hey,
super
Shower,
proud
he
of
only
that,
put a
man. I
3-year
know.
term on our existing deal, so
Oh my God. But yeah, I mean it's one of those things where I watched you create this, form it, take it to market, nailing down the first customer is the hardest part, and then it's just gonna blow up from here, dude. Just a testimony after testimony after testimony. Okay. And I'm gonna close with this because I'm gonna give everybody the gift of a lifetime. Well, two things. Number one, if you do a strategy session, okay, with either myself or Choya or Rita or Beth, okay, I will show up and give you a business portion of that for free, okay, just as my gift because I believe in what Choya's doing, I believe in what Rita's doing, I believe in what Beth is doing, I believe in, and then by the way, Gene and Shira, okay, are forming a corporation with me, and we're going to build a virtual assistant business. Why? Because we can. Clients ask for it all the time. And so if you want a virtual assistant business, not a virtual assistant business, but if you want to automate, delegate, and outsource all of your weaknesses, we're launching Operation Delegate, Inc. as a Tennessee corporation. Okay? It was the original VA company I started for my wife years ago. And we're relaunching it with Shira and Gene being part owners, baby. Let's go. Okay? And so if you do a strategy session there, okay, I'm going to show up and I will invest an hour of my time in your business just as a bonus for signing up with these people, okay, because they got valuable stuff and they can help you, okay? And all you got to do is click on the QR code, connect with them, and we'll get there. But knowing what your next steps are in your business is huge, and we're going to lay that out for you. So go out and make it happen. Listen to this recording. Go back and share this with everybody that you know, and we'll see you next week right here on the Business Doctor Show. Have a blessed week, everybody. Take care.